Driving up to the building, scared shitless, I get out of the car and I hear people yelling, cursing, screaming at me, calling me names. I sign in and find a chair. I'm looking down at my feet, completely ashamed and feeling guilty. I hear this high-pitched voice call my name. I feel like I have been sitting an eternity. I am sat in this small room with 3 plastic chairs and those thick glass blocks as walls. I had been sitting for hours waiting to be in that room. I hear a small knock at the door and I can hear the doorknob turn. I look up. There she is. This look of sorry on her face. I am instantly comforted by her presence. Dark brown hair, flawless skin. She's my counselor to help me through all of my decisions today and tomorrow. I am sitting in a chair, holding a small baby blue beanie. She asks, "May I see it?" This is where my story begins. I found out I was pregnant with my 3rd child. I couldn't be happier. My daughter was just starting 1st grade and my son was not even a year old. I couldn't believe it. I was so thrilled but scared. I had heart problems during my pregnancy with my son, but knew this was something that I would continue to struggle with. Every week I was worried about a cardiac arrest or a stroke. I had ultrasounds on my heart done, and we knew that I would have to have surgery to fix the issue, but I couldn't while I was pregnant or breastfeeding. I also knew that I would only have the issue during pregnancy, so this was always in the back of my mind. During one of my prenatal visits, I accepted the optional blood test for detection of Downs and spina bifida. I wanted my daughter to know how tough I was to get the tests done. She had seen me get the tests done with her brother. She just thought I was so tough. The following day, I was sitting at the dining room table working on a Christmas present project, and my phone was ringing. Hello? It was a nurse from my doctor's office. My blood test results came back abnormal. She asked if I could come in today, Thursday, for a sonogram. I couldn't make it because my daughter was getting off the bus at any minute. I told her my anatomy scan was on Monday, and I asked if I could wait until then. She was very adamant, and she told me I needed to be seen sooner. I requested tomorrow, Friday. She said she would fit me in. I remember waiting in the room for the technician, frightened, excited. I couldn't wait to see the baby again. And there was the image I had been waiting on, the little face I had fallen in love with. I lay there in silence for 2 hours. I had no idea what she was doing. She was measuring and counting and more measuring. She told me she was ready to reveal the gender. It's a boy. The surprise was overwhelming, shadowed by my doctor coming into the room. There was something wrong. Terribly wrong. He started with, "I am so sorry. I had an amniocentesis, another sonogram, an MRI, all in 1 week, all of which confirmed spina bifida, hydrocephalus, Chiari-2, and a heart malfunction. No limb movement had been detected during any of my visits, and what I thought were kicks and squirms were really seizures. I talked to a pediatric cardiologist and neurologist. The prognosis was hard to swallow. He would, at 24 hours old, require 3 major surgeries: spinal, brain, and heart. His ability to survive being on bypass for that length of time would be nothing short of a miracle and unheard of. I was really struggling. I had to think of my son and his quality of life. What did that really mean? I needed to be selfless and honest. The doctors at Children's deal with this every day, and they were scared of my son's outcome. His body, at the state we were in at gestation, was depreciating. We didn't qualify for the experimental prenatal surgery due to the severity of his diagnosis and my health condition. I had to come to a realization. He would never grow up. He would never be happy. He would live his very short life in pain and being on constant watch. And what life did I want for him? What life did he deserve? This was the time to be selfless. He would not survive infancy. I couldn't let him suffer because I was against termination of life. I had to look within myself and realize he didn't deserve my selfish reasons to just want him to be born. He was sick. He was loved. I chose to terminate my pregnancy for medical reasons because he didn't deserve to suffer one more day. I would have been angry months prior to this day if I heard any woman say those types of things. How dare her? How dare I judge a woman when I never walked a moment in her shoes? That day I sat in the waiting room, waiting to see a doctor on my last day with my son. I heard these women talking, laughing about why they were there. They didn't know each other, but you would have thought they were very close, talking about their lives, their futures, their plans for the evening. They were clearly not in any position to be mothers. They talked about selling food stamps, struggling for gas money to the clinic, drugs, alcohol, hating their body and this thing that they were carrying around. I hated them for that moment. But then I realized they didn't have the ability to carry out a healthy pregnancy. They were being abusive to themselves, and it was her decision, not mine. I planned my son's cremation. I visited with him before the funeral home picked him up. I cried. I blamed myself as I brushed my fingers across his toes. I would never forgive myself. I'm still ashamed. I don't feel tough anymore. But I know, without a shadow of a doubt, I made the best decision for Luca Christopher. His quality of life was more important than anyone's opinion or acceptance of me. Anonymous.